For so long.
So long for it to sync up and start going. But guys,
20 minutes before the stream.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
Welcome
man.
back to Superhero Smackdown here live on SourceFedNERD. This is the show where we talk about all of the superhero shows that are on TV. And then we fight for them.
Yes.
A lot of fun. Guys, thank you for joining us right here. I'm Sam Basher.
This
to my
boy.
right, we have Mr. DJ Woldridge. How you doing?
Hello.
Birthday boy.
Oh,
Birthday
wait.
boy.
Happy birthday.
Birthday
On
boy.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wait.
Happy
We don't wanna
birthday,
get
DJ.
tagged. Are we still allowed to do that song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyways, over to his right, we have Mr. Philip Molina.
Not my birthday.
It is not
It
fun.
could be if you want it to be.
We can say
You can drink
No,
it.
yeah.
And then over there on the farthest right, we have Happy Birthday, Matt.
No, it's his birthday.
Happy
birthday,
DJ.
Matt.
It's a
No,
DJ.
tell
Ragman
him it's
and
his birthday.
DJs. It's Ragman.
Oh, it's Ragman's
DJs.
birthday too?
Happy
Who knew?
birthday.
You know, the crazy thing about Ragman and DJs, you never see him in the same place at the same
true.
time.
I can never watch
would.
Arrow when he's there. What does that
And
mean?
what does that mean? I would love to be Ragman.
Out of everyone, there's Ragman and Superman.
Do you ever hope there's like some sort of like Z-list character that somehow you could get to play in something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take Ragman. 2 ladies taken.
2 ladies taken. But
Too
guys,
late.
this is the show where each of you guys, this week, there's only going to be 3 of the shows that
Yes.
aired because
Everything
of
was on
the election and
hiatus.
other
Yep.
things. There's been
2 of the shows
hiatuses.
we do talk about were both usually fall on Tuesdays, and they were sucked into the election season.
What
Oh,
was
well.
what?
But so today, Matt, you're going to be talking about Supergirl.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Philip, you're going to be talking about Arrow. Ooh, poof. Had a good episode this week. Both had good episodes. And then DJ going to be talking about
Oh, I'm so
Legends of Tomorrow,
excited.
because you got to talk about your favorite shows for the last couple times. So now you get Legends of Tomorrow. And so I'm actually going to be sitting
it's
out
good,
of
it's
the
good.
debate for this episode, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be participating with you guys.
Oh.
I'm actually going to be checking
You
Twitter.
should argue for the hypothetical Flash episode.
I
that
will.
could've-
There we
You
go.
always
I actually
will.
took his name off, but we can still argue
Be
for
the
him.
moderator we deserve.
I'm going to be moderating
Wait,
you guys.
it's
and
Eva DJ's birthday too? Is it every
Wow.
DJ's birthday?
Hey,
Every
you're
DJ.
welcome.
Hopefully.
Oh, man.
But anyways, I'm going to be on Twitter, and you guys actually can send us your thoughts using the hashtag SuperSmack. I'm really excited about that because I
Yeah.
want to actually hear from you guys and also be hitting us up in the chat because we can see that as we begin our discussion. So, and also, I've got 3 surprises for you.
3!
Ooh.
I mean, 2 are part of the same thing. It's the
Okay.
punishment and the reward, which I'm really excited about because I went out to a really fun store that I felt actually a little weird going into, but you'll understand once the things are here. And then
Great.
another surprise for everybody.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's
No
exciting.
one knows what it means.
What
Yeah.
Stay tuned to the end of the
birthday
stream.
dildo did you buy DJ?
Yeah. No such thing.
You'll see when we
Yeah,
get
let's
there.
say-
This
But-
is called the Green Arrow.
But
It is
kicking
my
it off
favorite.
with
boxing glove on.
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Kicking out with Supergirl, guys. Send us your thoughts using the hashtag SuperSmack to @SourceFedNERD on Twitter.
Please.
Matt, hit us with the story. Why was this story for Supergirl the best this week?
Ooh, okay. Supergirl having a resurgent second season, and I as great as some of the shows have been this year, I would say that Supergirl season, it's easily the most improved and maybe even the best of them all. We not only have Jimmy Olsen transcending the role of love interest to head of Catco Worldwide Media, and now to becoming Guardian. Yes.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Jimmy
Pretty cool.
Olsen. This week, National City was beset by a trio of dastardly robbers who've been getting a whole bunch of advanced alien tech from from Cadmus, essentially. They've been getting all these Cadmus guns, and Supergirl, she's not strong enough to stop them on her own.
The guns were cool. The one that's in the car into space.
Yes.
Yeah, the
It's just a
anti-gravity
freaking
gun?
cop car into space. Like we got classic Supergirl action, Supergirl fights, Supergirl saves. We had like all of the beautiful favorite Superman tropes are getting onto this show because we have they can't be there in the same place at the same time thing at Lena Luthor's birthday party or just gala, whatever. We have Alex and her coming out story.
Yeah.
Which is really beautifully handled, and they're not telegraphing it, but they're also not condensing it into one episode. They're giving it time to breathe.
That actress nailed it in that little monologue in the bar where she just
it
kind of
was so
rambled,
beautiful.
and
Yeah.
she didn't land on so I guess she didn't land on anything because you wouldn't. You just here are my thoughts and I don't know, and it was great. That moment was great.
Really, really well acted. I love the way that we're using Lena Luthor. Luther. I love that she has this friendship with Kara, as she's her only friend established this week. She has a respect for Supergirl. Eventually, those two parts of her life are going to collide. Yeah. Now knowing that the head of Cadmus is her mother and Lex's mother.
We've never gotten a Mama Luther before. We had Papa Luther in Smallville. Arguably one of the best parts of that show.
Yeah, oh no.
Lionel?
For sure.
Yeah.
Lionel was one of the best. But you also, you never really get it. Because isn't she not supposed to really be around too much?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
She's usually dead, I think.
Right.
I think that's the traditional role of Luther mom.
What I enjoyed most about this episode is, like, yes, while there was sort of a supervillain plot, it was not the point of the episode. It was a driver for various characters to discover new things about themselves. Yeah. And that's when these shows really are at their best, is when they're character driven. Yes. It's also, the show has, I think, a lot of political allegory in it that's really timely.
It's dealing with it better than last season, in my opinion.
100%. They've really found the tone. Yeah. Like, we're optimistic, and we're going to have discussions. It's not preachy. It's not soft. And also, we've got Mike Monell. Mark, whatever.
Monell,
super funny, and I love how this relationship is developing, because the Mon-El at present is not someone that I think that Kara would ever see herself with. Yeah. And I don't think she'll ever forget these things, but at the same time, we are probably moving in that direction. I like Lena and Wynn kind of having a very, similar sort of style, skill set.
Wynn is basically the glue on the show. Like, every time you need something different out of a character, you throw him with Wynn.
Yes, exactly.
No, Wynn builds everybody up. I'm excited for what they're going to bring to the show, especially for Guardian.
Yes.
Also,
best episode of the week.
I like what they're doing with Mon-El, because typically Mon-El is just a old school Clark Kent Superboy stand-in and similar personality and everything, and having somebody with Superman's powers have this personality, like the frat boy personality.
He's kind of a frat boy sleazebag.
But here's the thing, he
also doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know, and he's coming from a culture, so it's interesting how they take some very hateable characteristics, and they do this with Kara too, in their relationship, and make them not understandable and still fun. Like, you'd still want to hang out with either of these people, even though they're polar opposites.
Oh yeah, because Kara comes from a planet of prudish, elitist types. And Mon-El comes from this very kind of fratty planet. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's who they are.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I really quick, you guys have been saying it's a little quiet on your end. I turned it up a little bit, just refreshed the stream, and you guys should be good. But also, there's a couple of us in the audience that watched this episode, and I would like to read a few of these tweets. Amit R at Supergerbil says, while the villain wasn't good, the character arcs were the best this week on Supergirl. The character arcs were really good.
Solid point.
I also like if you gave more weapons out to people.
I like the weapon aspect of it, because it reminds me of Intergang.
Yeah, that's cool. I thought it was
for a hot second, I was like, are we going to get Intergang, and we'll be one step closer to Darkseid?
What's Intergang?
Intergang in the comics is a group, is a gang of criminals that are given alien weapons by Darkseid of all people.
Yeah. It was also on Superman the Animated Series, and it's just, they're the best. I love it.
That person has a very solid argument. This episode felt a little bit more like people dealing with the things they're concerned about themselves and weapons, not people with weapons.
Although I did not hate leader of the gang. He was the perfect slimy.
Charismatic. Yeah. He was charismatic just like John Corbin was from Metallo, which was really cool. I had one here. Eli Green asked at the Green Lobster, real quick, why didn't the Martian shapeshift into Kara?
Because he wasn't in the episode.
He wasn't, but also I liked the story of Clark having to be two people at the same time. Don't always use the trope of you have a shapeshifter, so use it every single time. It's like, no, let her challenge herself.
Seriously, Supergirl is the Superman show I've always wanted.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a Superman show.
It was a solid episode.
Did you guys see the previews for next week?
No.
We'll get to it at the end. We'll get to the end because we should talk about it while we wait for the votes to come in. Which you guys can actually vote in the link in the top of the description, so we can decide at the very end of the show who the winner of the week is. But that's good on Supergirl. Let's head over to Arrow. What happened over in Star City?
I don't know. It was just the best episode of Arrow we've had this season, which is also okay. Well, there's a whole different time to rebut. But no, it was the best episode of Arrow this season, and Arrow's having a resurgent season too. It's in fact, they kind of erased season 4 over on Legends, depending on how that ends up playing out. But, okay, so I'm going to just give you a quick recap. So Prometheus becomes a serial killer to call out what Oliver used to be, and then Thea learned some truths about Quentin, which were no-brainers. So here I'm going to start with the flashback storyline that finally introduced us to Kovar. And it's Dolph Lundgren, who is the most legitimately intimidating actor they've had on the show. Like, everybody else kind of is like, oh, now that I see a guy that I'm actually scared of, now I remember what fear is.
We were talking about it this morning, and we were like, I don't remember what he said, but what was the line that you took away?
Yeah, the way I remember him saying it in my brain is like, don't be a fucking farmer, snaps the neck. And I know he didn't say that. He could have said that, but the tone is like, that's how I remember
He also, I think he snapped the guy's neck by approaching him.
He's
He's kind of like, oops.
It's
like the Midas touch, except it's neck snap.
Neck snap, not as lucrative. So that was great. Brought for Oliver is always great. I don't think we need to reiterate that. And then the story itself is actually like, it was making an effort to connect how complicated the history of this show has been and really bring it all back and acknowledge that.
I kind of forgot that he was killing normal people.
Right.
Like
Oliver
really shitty people, but normal people.
He was a full-on murderer, and then he wasn't, and then he sometimes is. Either way, he's a huge hypocrite. And rather than just letting him get away with that, the show's acknowledging, he's messed up a lot, and he's got to pay for that. I think Prometheus is being created as almost a ghost of Oliver's past in a way. And
perhaps literally.
Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe. He's come back to haunt him.
We had too many ghosts last season.
But he's the villain that Oliver made with his own choices. That's what they're setting up, at least. Oliver created this guy with all of his failures in the past, which is setting up for like a really great climactic battle between them. But also Oliver versus himself and who he used to be. So one thing that they used to do a lot on this show is, well, one, romantic storylines that no longer are there as of this episode, which I'm very happy about. But two, they used to always just ditch a persona. Like, you know what, I've changed my mind. I made a lot of mistakes. Different Arrow. I'm the Hood. I'm Green Arrow. I'm Lime Green Arrow. Like, you can't keep just ditching what you did. You're the same guy. And I thought that was very funny when Felicity pointed out, like, oh yeah, those are all him. But also, it's the point that they're making. You can't escape that just by changing your name. And the fact that they're owning up to that this season, I think that's why this season has been good. They're like, hey, we've made a lot of shitty mistakes. Let's pay for them and let's make our character pay for them. Also, I enjoyed that the street level brawl, which, by the way, this is the only show that can do like street level fights pretty well. All of them, everyone's too like overpowered for fighting just normal people.
Every show's got the little flavor, and this is Arrows.
This one, it's the daredevil of this group, and so they have this moment where they have to take down just really like neurotic, freaked out citizens. And that's very interesting because normally it's just henchmen, right? Like endless waves of henchmen that they have to take out. And this week it's just normal people who are scared. And that both says that Prometheus is a real, legitimate fear. But also, it's a real quick story. When I was in college, in my college town, there was a serial killer. It was actually before I got there. This guy, Danny Rollins. And he was killing college students. And everyone in the college, even though he was only doing it like in their apartments, in privacy, it was fine. No, he was doing it in a very specific way. That didn't matter. The whole town got messed up, and they acted exactly like that. People walked the streets with weapons, with guns, with bats, with machete, and the cops didn't tell people they couldn't. Women would wear wigs and stuff. Like, people go nuts when there's a serial killer out there. And even though this show has had that before, this time the town, it felt real to me at least. Like, it's freaking scary. There's a guy that shows up in your home and you're a housewife or a mom or whatever, and he just kills you.
Which, by the way, was she on the list? Or was she one of the people
it was
on
an
the list?
anagram.
This is how
name
crazy
thing.
it is. She had, as far as we know, she did nothing wrong except for that her name spells out the name of another person if you switch the letters around.
If all of their names
Because I was going to say, because it's like the list, if I remember correctly, from season one was a very specific set of people that were part of Malcolm Merlin's movie or whatever.
Well, the list, they were helping the Quake. They didn't know they were helping the Quake.
Yeah, okay. So... And now it's just kind of like guy that ran a train, housewife. It's like, well, hold on a
that's
second.
kind of the point.
Delivery
Like,
man.
that's why people were so scared, because it's just innocence. It's random people at home in places where I don't know how Prometheus got in there, but whatever.
Because there was like when the housewife, she's walking towards a corner of a room where there's just a chair and then like a cabinet, and then like she looks down and looks back up, and he's in the corner, and I'm like,
That's because
Where the fuck
he
did he
is
come
the
from?
chair.
That's because he literally is a ghost from Oliver's past.
He's an actual
It's
ghost.
Shadow back from the dead.
Yes.
The list is back, which I think is great.
Yes.
I missed that.
Especially since we're gonna have to reintroduce it soon in the flashbacks because he's gonna end up back on
Right.
that island soon enough.
Which is going to be that. Okay, so actually, I'll skip ahead and kind of some points I was going to make. They're setting this up. This could be the last season of Arrow. Like the way that they're kind of wrapping up at least this chapter of it.
Yeah.
We are going to catch up in the flashbacks and Oliver versus old Oliver. So the whole point of this show was, I have to find redemption for what I used to be, like a douche, and my family's crimes that I've inherited, the sins of the father, right?
Yeah.
But then the show started, and he committed a bunch of sins too, and now he's having to redeem those sins, and we're gonna see this is gonna be the end of this season. It's gonna be a chapter ending. I feel like they could end the show there.
Yeah,
They've
we
talked
know they're
about
going
that, though.
further.
Yeah,
They're going further.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd like to if they did in season 6 if they did flashbacks from season 1 as the flashback, and then in season 7 it's season 2.
Yeah,
and
This
then-
is what you missed. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
I mean, they said that there weren't going to be any flashbacks after this year, but I think you're absolutely right, Philip, in that they're kind of closing the loop on this part of the story, and they're kicking off what will be the end game of the show. Like, whatever the next 2-3 seasons hold, it's going to be its own story.
And you know how you know that they had at least some of this in their heads for a long time? They're pulling off some stuff that's more slick than they usually are. The fact that the ninja stars, whatever they are, they're made from Oliver's old arrows.
That is so
That's
fucked
amazing.
up.
That's
is
that's
so
metaphorically it's that
Nobody
idea.
noticed that whoever this was taking those out of evidence
Well, that's
and
my
then
favorite part of
smelting them
it.
down.
Yeah, it's
No,
the
because
fact that
it was Quentin Lance.
potentially. We'll
I-
see.
yeah,
We'll see.
what do you guys
Well,
think
hold on
about
one
that?
second. Hold on.
Okay.
So the arrows not only are the metaphor of like literally these are the injuries you made, the crimes of your past, but also the fact that they were able to interweave it with the plot perfectly, where it's like, and whoever has those arrows implicates the SCPD. They don't pull off that kind of metaphor plus plot combo very often on the show. We have to reward them. This week is why they had the best week.
It was a really solid episode, and that was a good twist. But we do have some tweets here from Vincent Plu. He says, where did he go? Where did that tweet go that I really liked? Okay, season 5 of Arrow is the best since season 2. No bad episodes so far. Best show of the week, and I'm feeling the same way. Also, I don't know if you mentioned this, but I lost a tweet, and it is here. It was regarding Artemis. There it is, from Michael Walsh at Walshy Movies. I'm really happy that Artemis had more to do this episode. I'm glad she's getting some time to shine, because honestly, she was there, and I completely forgot what her story was from the last season.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That Damien Dark was tied to that.
Yeah, I like that they're taking opportunities because they have so many episodes to fill, taking opportunities to focus on different members of the team and fleshing out their stories. Like Artemis this week, Wild Dog in past weeks.
Right, next week.
Hopefully,
I think we might
Mr.
get
Terrific will finally
Terrific.
fucking get gadgets and be useful.
Yeah.
The T-Spirit flying around.
Yeah,
He
come
had
on,
them, where'd
man.
they
He's
go?
busy braiding his hair.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
look,
he
seriously.
does so
so
fast.
long.
I hope they
He
built a
did-
machine that takes care of that because it's a lot of
Or
work,
it's like
man.
a wax thing that
Yeah, just-
pushes it
Maybe.
around and then they're
Maybe.
good to go. That was a solid episode, but let's hear that story from Legend of Tomorrow.
Oh man, the 80s.
And we're done. And Matt, back to you.
No, we return to the 80s. We get young Martin again, young little
Young
Marty.
Marty.
Who's Martin Manhunter, yeah, who's always entertaining, although I am not completely sure how he doesn't remember these interactions from the past. A little,
Oh, he said he did.
does he?
He said he did. He said he was like, I'm on the time ship again.
I'm talking about future
no,
Martin.
future
Yeah,
Martin.
not
As it
remembering
happened.
anything.
Time
But-
loop, time
but-
quake, time.
I think that
time
like-
timers.
Time
Yeah,
Zach.
like
Yeah.
Superhero this week,
Timers.
the focus so much isn't on the plot and what's going on here. It's what it's doing with the characters, because we dive a little bit more into Sarah wanting to kill Damien Dark and coming to terms with the fact that it's very irresponsible of her to try and kill him, because we don't know. He's been around since the 80s. Since the 50s, wasn't that the earliest? Yeah.
And he went.
So
Technically, he's even further back.
yeah, so
But
killing
Damien
him
Dark,
might
was there
have
in the 40s too.
was in the Nazi times,
Yeah,
right?
he was
Yeah,
older than-
yeah. Okay, so killing him could have untold damage. Could do, which by the way, Damien Dark way better time bad guy than Vandal Savage last season.
Agreed.
Way better, just because Neil McDonough is
Also
amazing.
Eobard.
Well, his.
And also, they did with him what I wanted them to do with Sarah. Like, don't undo his death. Like, just take him out before he dies and have him pop up in a bunch of different times. Anyway, so having to deal with that, you deal with the fact that really interesting, Martin having to deal with his wife and come to terms with the fact that he's an asshole.
Such a dick.
I love to decide on Legend of Tomorrow, like, how do we differentiate? How do we who was Martin's character? Oh, he's an asshole.
Selfish.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Right,
Did
saw that a few
roofie
weeks
ago.
Jax to get him
Exactly.
on the ship.
Yeah, and then
he's-
while the rest of them were stranded in feudal Japan, he's like, "No, let's open this hatch."
Yeah. But, like, I wanted in that conversation, Martin's like, I can't believe that man's in front of me. He's like, dude, you're not any better, man. Like, you're just having to deal with who you are. Ray trying to fill the shoes of Captain Cold, not very successful.
We called that last
It
week.
was really
too.
funny too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the jokes that they
Him
had.
and Mick make a great pairing, and it's cool that they paired them off more. And also, we get a little bit more of the backstory of the JSA in a really cool way. I think that's probably been the most successful thing they've done this season, is seed in the JSA into the history of this. That's the greatest thing that they've done to the history of the Arrowverse here. That the JSA has existed. They have this long history.
They had like
we
a
have
training
Lance.
facility.
We
and
have
stuff.
Lance
Right.
Henriksen as Obsidian, which they cast him as Obsidian. I'm like, why is Obsidian so old? Because when we were first introduced to him, it's the 40s, and now it's the
Right.
80s, so it's 40 years later. And so we get more of that. We get more of, it's Amaya, right? The new Vixen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Her history with the team and what it means to her to have left them and what it meant to her to have Rex be killed. And so those things are more important to this story than the plot, which is just them trying to stop another nuclear thing in the 80s. So we're back in the 80s and we're stopping another nuclear thing.
Michael Walsh on Twitter. Again, he's an awesome guy. Thank you for sending us your questions and topics and whatnot using hashtag SuperSmack. But he says Obsidian was such a dope character. He did literally nothing in the JSA episode. So much cooler now. He didn't speak. I would have loved if
they just made
forced
him
the
at
old
night.
He just looks really cool. He's basically the shadow on that
Yeah,
team.
he could have done a little bit more in that fight.
Hey, the Lost Smoke Monster.
It was
over?
great. It just
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it was great to look
Yeah,
at.
it
He
was
can dodge
cool.
bullets and then just
Catch
choose
one.
not to.
He can catch bullets.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speed of light, he can take one in the gut.
How are you guys feeling about Nate?
Nate, I actually really like Nate. Again, I kind of wish it wasn't just another pretty white guy. It would have been interesting to have an Asian American actor and anything else, because he's just aesthetically, he's basically, in personality wise, he's very similar to Ray Palmer, and especially now that Ray's kind of useless.
How great was this moment? It's also, in a way, a bad moment where he's like, man, he would be dead if he was not Citizen Steel. Where he's just fighting, and one guy goes, and he's able to shoot him in the head like 13 times.
He's Colossus. He's their
Yeah.
Colossus. I also liked when he was what was the dresser that he didn't
He was
want to bring?
Marathon Lincoln's.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That was cute. Having his story on the team makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved, what was the specific thing that like got me like super amped, because season 1 had those like Avengers style moments where
Yeah.
like everybody's doing shit, and they had like when they were immediately gonna like take on like a fight in that like dinner party or whatever, they went down the line and people's like powers activated or whatever, and he went like silver. I was like, oh fuck, this is so cool.
By the way, what the hell? Like, cool that Vixen got to use another power. She turned on the eagle thing, which I guess
She's
gave her
night
X-ray
vision. It was
vision.
It gave her night
Night
vision.
vision.
Because
You
it's
know,
a
every
bird of
bird-
prey at night.
And
like
birds
an owl.
hunt at night.
Yeah, but it wasn't an owl. It was an eagle.
Yeah,
which I don't know
but
that I have.
birds hunt at night.
Do eagles hunt at
They
night?
only
Yeah,
have
yeah.
eagle
All
and
right.
the gorilla.
Okay.
All right, and it's maybe
They also
tiger.
Tiger, we got a tiger.
They
Yeah.
fly.
They're-
They're
I-
able to fly.
you know
Did
what?
we all
I-
think she was gonna fly?
I
thought she was
liked
gonna fly.
I
thought she was gonna fly.
I like Nate a lot. Vixen is easily the best addition to the new
Yeah.
cast.
Again, we
She's
said it
very
last
good.
time, but
Yeah.
she's so much better than Hot Girl was.
Sorry, Hawk Girl.
Like this show too is having a great second season, just like really smart reboot.
The other
choices.
thing that excites me about this is I think the Legends of Tomorrow has been have an arc this season where they set up a premise in the first like 10-15 minutes. I'm like, this is so exciting. This is going to be so amazing. And then by the end of the episode, you're like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Hey,
like
this
you
is
could
the show you're fighting for.
I know.
No, he means
but,
it was
no.
fine.
But this episode, I think part of the thing that's been missing is a clear like, oh, we're just kind of bumping around time, fixing sort of things. You know what I mean? And now that we have the Legion of Doom finally forming, in a valid reason for Damien Dark, like. Oh, did anybody halfway through White Canaries, Sarah, like tearing him down, like, no, you should have just killed him. Like, this whole like this happens and this happens, like you know he's working for a time traveler, right? Like this is not. But
He's
the
gonna
fact
be
that
able
they're
to
together
fix all that.
adds a clearer threat for them to stop, which I think will only benefit the show going forward.
I'm glad that they know that it's a speedster by now, because
And
That
also-
was a cool takeaway of how
Yeah.
fast he was. He's like, he must be faster than the Flash. I'm like, God.
No.
She doesn't-
You
he's
mean
as
fast as the Flash.
faster? How would you even gauge that?
Well,
See,
last
when
time
he
I
ripped him out of my
blinked-
hand,
Yeah.
only 3 of my fingers broke because he
Yeah.
ripped him and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh god, it was also a very cool moment. But a couple tweets here. Devonier at Devonier616 writes, it was nice to put that they made Obsidian gay in the end.
Well, in the
Obsidian
comics,
what?
he is
Right.
gay in the comics, and I thought it was. I'm glad. I was a little bit worried when they were talking about like, oh, there was a very tense time, and they deemed I wasn't trustworthy, and then Vixen immediately shuts it down, and I was like, well, are you not gonna? And I'm glad that they kind of.
Yeah.
They didn't harp on it, but they brought
What
it
if
back.
Vixen was like, no, I hate that about you.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't want to. And
I'm
it's,
old-timey.
and it's interesting. That's another interesting thing
It would have
they've
made
done
sense
with
for the time period.
that they made with the Justice Society, because that's actually a really diverse team, and so there's shades of whether they dive into or not. There's shades of what was done with the Minutemen and Watchmen, where these are kind of like the outcasts that kind of banded together.
Yeah.
And so there's elements of them that society would not.
Accept.
Did any of you guys read Darwin Cook's Minutemen miniseries
No,
from
but I've
Before
heard
Watchmen?
great things.
It's one of the that and Dr. Manhattan are what you should read from the Before Watchmen thing. Maybe Rorschach because it's beautiful, and so it dives more into like the dysfunction in there, which they could do with a happier version of
Carla
Justice Society.
Plants in the comments says, how does she know she's never met Barry?
No, she has.
Sarah's met Barry?
Sarah's met
Or
Barry?
there's a episode where they're in the same episode at least. I don't know that they were in the same, but they're in the same episode.
No.
I don't.
There
think
was an episode.
If they've met, let us know specifically when they met, because now that I think about it, she should know about him.
No, in
Right.
a Legends episode wasn't Barry. Remember that promo that they showed where Barry's zooming around?
That was a promo, but he's never showed up
But
on the
maybe
show.
it's in continuity.
Maybe, but also he's like, yeah, all the friends went on a trip.
Yeah.
He's like, he
Guys,
doesn't even know what's
obviously
happening.
they met during Superhero Fight Club.
Oh
That's
yeah, there's
true.
2 of those. I forgot about that.
By the way, speaking of Fight Club, this is where we first got the introduction of it. Diggle's helmet's way better.
Who did?
Diggle's helmets. We
Diggle's
got
better.
a
Oh,
first
yeah,
look at
yeah,
his
they got
helmet in the
better.
Superhero Fight Club. It's way better.
It's a lot better.
2 episodes in, I'm like, way better.
All right, guys. I'm gonna check the poll.
Oh my goodness.
Like you guys know,
I just
we
wanna
like to
remind you.
vote.
Do any of these
Supergirl
shows
is a
have
show.
time travel?
Do
Yes.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
What?
We got Arrow, then Supergirl,
Oh,
then Legends
whoa!
of Tomorrow. Has Arrow ever
boy.
won on this?
No,
I
but
think so.
Arrow had that good of a week this week.
But it did.
I just
Also,
want to
I-
remind everyone that
I
Supergirl
will
had
say-
an incredible week and an incredible season.
I will say I've been very much enjoying Arrow this season.
You always enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
you
do
enjoy
enjoy
it,
Arrow,
even
but
in the
we
bad
can all admit that season 3 was not very good, and I would argue that season 4 was marginally better, but also not
Season
great.
4,
Very
I would
good.
argue, is worse.
Well, remember the first half of that season?
First half was
up
good,
until
got
Damien
better.
Dark getting arrested.
Can we all just remember
That's
end
where
of
the
season
wheels came
2?
off.
Season 2.
Season
It
2
was a wonderful time.
And,
we all
but
just
seriously,
remember
if this
Supergirl
show,
season
if this
2?
show, if this show keeps on the trend that it's going, season 5 might be up there with season 2.
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, I think they're rebooting a lot of like the way their characters behave, what the threat feels like to season 2.
Love the flashbacks. I don't think I've ever been as on board with the flashbacks as I am this season.
Well,
Really?
yeah, because it's just
Season
him
1
being a
flashbacks,
badass
Yeah.
Those
instead
were
of
good.
him being like he was not good on the island. The island bores me, honestly.
You had some good stuff. I think part of it is what helped season 2 is you had characters around him like Shadow and Slade that he
Slade
cared
was
about,
great,
that you
but
cared about as an audience, and then they can never quite recapture that with the one random Russian chick in
Right.
season 4
Yeah.
or Katana in season 3,
Right.
and now it's like you've got KGB. I should know his real name, Anatoly.
Yeah.
You have that, and now you have fucking Dolph Lundgren on there.
as Dolph Lundgren.
As Dolph Lundgren.
But here's the question, though.
Yes.
Who had the best action of the week?
So
Let's go ahead and
let's
kick it off with Supergirl.
Oh, shall we?
No.
May I remind you that this is a show in which a cop car got flung into space by a freaking ray gun.
Yep.
Okay?
It had scales on it.
It had scales on it.
Yeah.
Look, this is about not just the quality of action, but also diversity of action. We had an incredible rescue. We had like flying fights. We had on the ground fights. We had Guardian Begins with like Batboy.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
His lip burst immediately.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm gonna fight, and his lip was bleeding
Right,
already.
but like firmly establishing him as like a badass street fighter,
Yeah.
and like versus those weapons was really really cool. We had a different kind of action with Mon-El.
Mon-El.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Philip.
Tessmacher, is that her name?
Yeah,
She was really feeling
yeah,
Mon-El.
yeah.
Mon-El and
Give
Miss
her her credit card
Tessmacher
back.
banging in the
Give her her
coffee
credit card
room.
back.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that felt like. How'd you guys feel? Because Supergirl feels so like sterile, like, and like no one has genitals on that show. And he was like, she's like, do you have protection? I was like, whoa,
Yeah, you know
Supergirl.
what weirded me out about that? She's like, she hears that, do you have protection? She's like, whoa, and then she goes to class, like, wait, you guys are having sex? That's
also
why
thought-
She
that's
knew
the
what she
reason
was
you-
going
Yeah,
behind.
come on.
She just didn't
She wanted to
wanna-
learn.
Maybe she doesn't know what kind of business the Daxamites got downstairs.
Yeah. We don't know what business a Kryptonian has.
Listen, we're talking about action, okay?
Yeah.
We're talking.
I know.
We're trying to help you, Matt.
What was like the most epic moment?
Oh, the
of
most epic
episode?
moment. I mean, it's honestly pretty tough. Like, I really did enjoy Supergirl's heat vision versus the 3 blasts of the 3 different ray guns.
Cool.
But like, and I loved the first Guardian fight. But for me, it's the save. Like,
It's the save.
that's the thing is like what Supergirl and Superman do that I feel like none of the other hero shows do is they save people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's those moments that are far more thrilling and enjoyable than any of the fights, because any of these shows can do a fight.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's always, like, the threats can kind of juggle from show to show to show. You know, you just have to change the circumstances of the week. Like, oh, Supergirl loses her powers. Now she's got to fight like a normal person. Great, we've got street fighting. You know, like, Arrow's fighting against someone with a technological gun. He can figure it out. But, like, saving somebody is something that only Supergirl can do, and I think that that moment this week was just wonderful. It outlined why we need the show.
It was an awesome experience. So we lost that cop car, right? It's just that.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it kept going.
I hope like at the end of the season, like they have the most dramatic season finale ever, and it's epic, and you're like on the verge of tears, and then the final shot is just the cop car in space.
Oh no! What you need is an enemy coming, and you just see it pass by the cop car.
Yeah,
as
no,
the sirens
that's
are still
the
going
thing.
off.
Warworld, they're like Warworld's coming, and you got this crazy shot of Warworld coming to Earth, and you're like, oh shit, and then the cop car.
Yeah, and it crashes into it.
It's just a little.
And then the Warworld explodes. Yeah, like, all right, well there you go.
Kind of
love
like a
the
Death Star
ice.
type scenario.
Yeah.
It flies into like a hole and it
It
explodes.
was a real subtle thing with it, but the ice that kept building up on the
Yeah.
car. That was very,
Yeah,
very
details
cool.
are important, but also Arrow, you have Ragman, so you already have an advantage. But what
Oh.
other action did we get? We didn't get a lot of rags.
Oh.
to be
Not
honest.
a lot of rags.
Not enough rags.
I think that's honestly that's
Guys,
Negative.
No, don't worry about it, because the Arrow game was on point. All right, I gave high fives to ghosts. So, okay, we were talking about it earlier. Everyone's going to pretend they weren't, but before this stream started, everybody was going nuts about the arrow down the gun barrel.
Jeez.
The arrow down the gun barrel.
was really
So, well, actually, we'll show you some more pictures about it later.
Oh,
you don't have to pull them out now.
You don't want to see them
because we have a whole other section we have to
Oh,
do
okay.
later, yeah. But the arrow down the gun barrel, I mean, if you like arrows, which you should if
Wait,
you watch
is
this
Action and
show.
Epic Moments
really
still
enjoy
lumped together?
Arrow.
Yeah.
Action and Epic Moments lumped
If you
together,
like
yeah.
Arrow, you should like
We
Arrow.
got Zipline Arrow.
Yeah.
We got the...
That everybody
okay.
used, which was cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. We got the runaway train, which I always love runaway
That's
trains,
cool.
by the way, and that great exploding arrow that would have killed Prometheus, so just
Yeah.
right away, blast a hole in it,
That
and
was
the
I
train
think
goes
the
off
most-
and it blows up.
I think it was the most badass Prometheus moment ever. Like, oh shit.
Oh,
boom.
crap, yeah.
Also, he had like he had like arrows in him, or he just had them bounce off.
Yeah.
He's made of arrows.
And then...
He is one of Oliver's arrows come to
a
life.
giant one. And then, guys, they're all
forgot
saved
about
by
me.
the parachute.
Yeah.
That was
parachute arrow.
that was pretty cool.
Still don't know how it works. Really cool though.
Hey,
Well, it's
Cisco.
very windy in Star City.
Cisco.
So it
It's
sounds
more
like
like
they
where's the
did,
arrow? How's the
Lots of
parachute in the
things
arrow?
that we've seen before. Interesting.
All in one episode. I'm not even halfway done with the action. Meanwhile, you're like, they saved a cop. He signed up for this, guys.
for flying into space.
Yeah.
Guys, it's Veterans Day.
Hey, oh,
You don't celebrate cops on Veterans Day? All right, anyway. We had the Great Tennis Ball Massacre, which was a great reference to our
little throwback.
previous thing. Also, the gun-wielding citizens that were causing hysteria. That's what I was saying earlier. This is not something we've seen before. It's always henchmen which feel like, honestly, disposable.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Wild Dog shot one in the brains.
Yeah,
well,
especially
fine, it's
now
a
that we're okay
henchman.
killing him. Hey, it was only Church's henchmen that he's killing. Yeah, good point.
So
What?
it was actually a deeper level of the normal street level action where it's like, they can't kill these people. These are people that are just scared. And they're not like on fear toxin. This is just normal human beings being scared. And then just in general, the team I thought worked together pretty well. With
I
Artemis.
like new
You
team
got a
Arrow.
point.
Artemis fighting was good.
You got a point, but Tiffany is saying here on Twitter that Arrow was lacking a bit of Ragman this episode. So I mean,
Actually, what
you
I'll
had
tell
them
you,
all
I'll tell
drinking
you.
schnapps and giving it to an
You know what?
underage girl. But
Yeah.
whatever.
I'll
Yeah.
say,
Hey, when I was
say
14.
it wasn't as much Ragman, but it was more Rory. And Rory was the only level-headed person in that entire city this
Rory's
episode.
pretty
And
cool.
he really grew on me this episode a lot.
Yeah, I
actually.
like that they keep going back to his. I like the little details about him, like his little art sculptures and everybody reacting to them.
Yeah,
and
what the
everything.
hell is
Yeah,
this?
what's going on
But
there?
he's level-headed and he's chill.
Yeah.
He's not gonna murder people.
Also, another good point from Vincent Blue is Oliver just happened to know he needed a parachute arrow. He just has so many options.
His quiver is like a bat belt, a utility belt. It's got all.
But where do the arrows go? Just the normal ones.
He's made
of arrows.
Right. Super simple thing. When he's pulling it back, he triggers whether or not he wants it to be a trick one or a normal arrow.
Didn't they do something like that with Hawkeye and Avengers? Like he could like type something into his bow and then
like cycled around.
Can we all agree that the Green Arrow from this show would murder the fuck out of Hawkeye from Avengers?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Remember?
Think about it.
I don't know. But don't you remember in the first Avengers when Hawkeye took out more aliens than anybody?
Yeah, I still think this. I think Oliver could kick his ass.
Jessica Chantel says it was a para arrow. So like that little note. Thank you for the tweets. Keep saying hashtag Super Smack. But wait a minute, you gotta fight for it, man.
And it's just action and epic moment. Okay, not only epic moment. Not only did we see Damien Dark climb into a time sphere and have Reverse Flash send him through time, we also got a great team fight where you got Colossus bashing on people, and then my favorite moment of the episode where Sarah gets the biggest guy in the room, and she has to take off her heels, throws one to distract him, and then bludgeons him with the other one.
She pulls a Black Widow leg.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I do like in these things where it's just you switch around a bunch and then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm stunned," and then falls over.
It's like when somebody dances real good in front of you and you're like,
"Whoa!" But once again, cementing Sarah as the most badass character on the show. I will never get tired of seeing Katie Lotz in fight scenes. She is so great in them. I think didn't they do a special, like they were interviewing the cast from the show and like, oh, if you could have one cast member from another show, and the actress who played Alex was like, Sarah Lance, of course, and then Stephen Amell was like, we'd love to have Katie Lotz back. You know what I mean? Because she's an MVP, proves it again. What else you get? You got Obsidian going all smoke monster and doing his stuff. The references to I can't wait to get to the Easter eggs. So many Easter eggs. I feel like I'm missing something. You got Crossing the Streams. You got Adam Ray Palmer with Captain Cold's cold gun, which is a sentence you thought anybody at the White House. Just straight up firing them at Secret Service agents. I'm pretty sure.
I know. I was like, oh man. So Firestorm was like killing like heroes.
Yeah. Is there like a non-lethal setting on those guns?
Yeah.
Well, this is radiation. These people are getting cancer.
Superpower.
So a lot of cool. You got the Miami Vice opening, which was great. That was probably my favorite moment of the episode.
Yeah.
Neil McDonough looks great in that suit.
You did miss one thing. We got transmutation one more time where he turned the bullets into sand as they were flying.
Nice. He didn't just block him. I thought he just blocked him.
No, he just turned him to sand.
Good. I would like more transmutation.
That is the coolest part about Firestorm.
That's what makes Firestorm not just Human Torch.
Yeah. He is more than that. Also, it's not like two people have to make a full Human Torch. It's like, no, he can like...
Man, that would really suck if he was just Human Torch, but he takes up two people.
Yeah. He's just bursting with so much fire and energy. All right, let's get another tally on our poll.
Bring up the poll.
Ooh,
wow.
Arrow might take it this week. Guys, keep voting. There's a link in the top of the description. I keep posting in the chat.
Listen, if you have anything in your heart, you will vote for Supergirl.
Whatever you believe in.
Whatever you believe in.
Vote for exactly
Supergirl,
what you believe in.
It could be Arrow.
Vote your conscience.
You could even vote for Flash, but I wouldn't throw away a vote like that because there was no episode. But
you can put it as an option.
But Matt.
Hey, you know what? If you really love Flash, vote for Legends Tomorrow this week.
What kind of Easter
we won't be able to
eggs
separate
did you find in Supergirl?
What kind of Easter eggs did I find?
Wait, did Matt find?
Did I find in Supergirl?
Are you vamping?
Yeah.
Wait, so how many did I find?
Yeah.
Hold on. Are you?
How dare you? I
Sam,
need to go outside for a
asking
second.
me, Matt Lieberman, how many Easter eggs did I find?
Yeah.
Wait a
in
minute.
Supergirl?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You, Mr. Matt Lieberman.
Yeah,
I'm
Matt
asking
Lieberman.
you. How many?
How
from
many
me,
Easter
Sam
eggs?
Basher. How many Easter eggs?
Well, we gotta first
Hold
define
on.
Easter.
None.
Oh, bro, how good were they? Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, up next.
Did we see anything there that was Easter?
Yeah.
By the way, hold on. People keep hitting us up with the Zatara poster. What was that from?
I will pull
Arrow.
it up as we talk. It was in Arrow, and there was a Zatanna picture.
Man, I would love
Right
to see
there.
Zatanna
Here.
on these shows, man.
Here, I'll just quick do a thing. Watch. Keep talking while I pull
Keep
this.
talking.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, so we'll skip that one. Sam is pulling up a nice poster for you guys to check out. Otherwise, though, honestly, Arrow is never the Easter egg episode of the week. Guggenheim is like, we have enough problems. Like, just trying to have a good story for people that don't get this stuff. So the other ones are more about
There it
Easter
is.
eggs.
Sorry, it pulls up immediately when I uploaded
Oh,
it.
there you go.
There it is.
Okay.
Zara.
So reference. Yeah,
Cool.
we talked about it.
That's at the venue that they went to?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's
Rockets
in the
Arena.
train station.
Man, I'd love to get his hand on one of these shows.
That'd be pretty sweet. So I have a couple kind of weirder ones. I'll say that. So let's talk about the arrow and the gun again real quick. That actually is a kind of thing that comes up in the comics a good amount. It's always kind of the most impressive thing he can do. But this is one of my favorite moments in the comics. He's actually fighting alongside Superman there. But in that other one, he shoots 2 arrows at the same time into 2 guns. Which is just impressive. Yeah. And then in the other one, that's from the Injustice comics, where Harley Quinn herself is like, "Holy crap, this is cool!" Yeah. And she actually asked him to do it again.
That's pretty cool.
So that was nice that we got to see that. Also, if Quentin is Prometheus, you have to go with me on this kind of weird one here. Prometheus, the Titan of mythology, was the one that gave humanity fire.
Yeah.
And Zeus did not like that Prometheus did that, so Zeus chained up Prometheus, and then brought an eagle to descend upon him every single day to eat his liver, and tear out his liver and eat it, and then every night it would grow back, and the eagle would return every day.
So you're saying that because he's a drunk and the liver connection, that's why it makes sense.
I'm saying that's. I called it a stretch at the beginning.
So you're saying
I'll call it a stretch at
Prometheus
the end.
is alcoholism.
It's just
embodied in a
an
man.
interesting thing that inside of him he's also struggling with his liver. We have And So It Begins, which Felicity called out as a Babylon 5 reference. Ishmael Gregor is a character in the comics. We got him. He was one of the Russians. He's not that interesting, so I'll skip that. Tobias Church's stolen cell phone. It turned up on a warehouse on Poirot and Puckett. Those are 2 veteran DC Comics creators.
They like to do that.
Yeah, Puckett actually created Connor Hawke. Which is pretty cool. Who is now a little Diglett, if you think about it.
Yeah, Diglett.
Yeah. I'll give you. Those are my Easter eggs.
So, do we want to take a second to talk about the Lance reveal and what we think about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now. It's a good Easter egg. Yeah.
So if it is. So at the end of the episode, a lot of people, I'm surprised, missed this very specific thing, but you shouldn't have. When Prometheus was fighting Artemis, she actually got a nice slice on his arm. So that's what that slice that supposedly is on Quentin could be from, if he is also Prometheus, and then there's also the throwing star there.
Here's my thoughts on it. I do think it's a feint, because it feels a little bit early to be like, here's a bad guy. But if it were to be a cast member that we've grown to know over these past few seasons, who is more motivated than Quentin Lance?
Right.
No one.
Lost
him.
Both of
He
his
lost
children,
both of his daughters
his
because
job.
of Oliver Queen.
Right.
Yeah.
Lost his job, arguably, because of Oliver Queen. Theoretically, Oliver Queen's ruined his life repeatedly.
Yeah.
We know it's somebody in the ACPD. I feel very confident that it's Felicity's boyfriend.
It very well could be.
I assume Oliver screwed him over somehow in the past, and this is...
I'm going to throw out
Payback.
one thing out there, too, to just keep in mind. Quentin could have been affected by Flashpoint. So he's not necessarily exactly the same Quentin.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, he could be... The situation they're setting up is that he doesn't know he's doing this. He's blacking out.
Potentially,
doing
right.
it, which would be really interesting. But where did he get the skills to go toe to toe?
Well, have you ever been drunk?
No, one of the coolest things they could have done for Speedy when she went off and trained with Malcolm Merlin was that they could have just not shown her being trained and just have her come back and kind of being stoic and you don't really know what's going on. And when she gets her hand burned and she actually has skills now, that would have been a cool reveal as they went on through the season. She's like a weapon now. Yeah. That's what they could be paying off with Quentin. He was gone for a long time and he was like, oh yeah, I fell out of love with Felicity's mom and kind of moved on from that.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. I'm with DJ a little bit that it's it just feels like the timing doesn't feel right for the reveal.
It just feels like a twist.
So it could be a misdirect.
One of the best moments we had last season is when Oliver confronted Quentin and was like, you've always hated me, but you're working with Damien Dark. Do you remember in the apartment? It was it was this solid moment where it's if you needed a lot of emotion in this season, put those two against each other.
Well, yeah, because who's the actor? Blackthorne.
Perfect.
Paul
Blackthorne.
He's always been one of the. He's the adult.
Yeah.
All the CW shows need an adult. He's the adult on the show. And
I like when they scream down the shows, "We need an adult!"
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like to have him
also,
be the villain, then we don't have an adult no more.
you don't have an adult no more. And also,
Oliver's
whoever this
the
is,
adult.
I don't think you can bring him back from what Prometheus has been doing. They're full on villain territory from here on out. And do we want that for Lance?
Kind of, if they are really kind of like wrapping this thing up. Also, keep in mind, Sarah Lance just changed everything, so who knows what the hell.
Yeah, I like that you guys keep wrapping up. You know the show is going to go on for at least 10 seasons.
Potentially, it's going to be the Supernatural, another one. I would say because of the themes of this episode and how it is about closing that arc and making Oliver pay, that is the best argument for why Quentin would be a great villain.
Yeah.
Where it's like he knows who this guy really was, and he's the one that as you said, personally has suffered it the most.
Yeah.
Those are our theories, guys. Hit us up on Twitter so that we can read yours along with it. But also hit us up really quick with some
Easter
Easter
eggs.
eggs.
I did remember one Easter egg.
Oh,
from
hit us with the
Supergirl.
Supergirl one.
So in Superman the movie, Miss Tessmacher is blown away by how handsome Superman is,
Yeah.
and is all kinds of just gaga over him. So to have that echoed with
There
Miss
you go.
Tessmacher and Mon-El, who in the comics traditionally Superboy, makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easter
There
egg.
you go.
There you
got
go.
it.
So, in this episode, we had Obsidian return, and we had some fun nods to him. The fact that he is gay from the comics. He's also played by Lance Henriksen, who's a
he's a
famous,
legend.
famous genre actor. He was in Terminator. He was in Aliens. He was also in everybody's favorite movie, Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, wow. Was he in that?
Yeah, he was the king. He's listed as the king, so I'm assuming.
Oh,
that
he's
the,
King Toadstool.
Yeah,
at the
so
very
he's the
end.
fungus that comes out.
Yeah.
Oh,
We also
God,
have
that part's so gross.
the intro, which is just one giant homage to Miami Vice.
Right.
We've got Step-Off beer, the beer that Ray
Nick
Palmer
is drinking.
messes up.
Right.
It's a reference to Vladimir Stefoff,
yeah.
who was the producer on this show. He was also a producer on X-Files and Supernatural.
Very cool.
You have a note here that I cannot read because my writing is garbage. Back to the Future reference. So you're not thinking
Doc
fourth
Brown.
dimensional.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then and
And
the
he
Streams
doesn't know
Crossing
who
too.
Doc-
Streams Crossing, which is a
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters reference. They were
How
going
does
through.
he not know who Doc Brown is?
Yeah, great question. And also the calling him Marty again, like, oh, Marty, you're past that, all that stuff. That was Back to the Future reference. Crossing Streams, we talked about that. The Carlin Award, which Marty was so excited about, like, oh, did I get the sixth one? Is a reference to Mike Carlin, who was a Superman and Justice Society editor in the comics. And also, the word on the street is, one of the rumors is that the artifact that they were supposed to get in the ring box is Alan Scott's ring, who is Obsidian's dad in the comics. And he's the
It was
first-
been
he's the-
confirmed here too.
he's the first Green Lantern, not associated with the Green Lantern Corps. Very complicated.
It's like a
If
magic
there-
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
If there's a Green Lantern ring in that box, that changes all of these shows. Because that's something they have not touched.
Yeah, it would
They
be
did kind of in Smallville.
I do.
No.
wish-
Well,
That
I mean
doesn't
these
count.
shows.
These
These
shows,
shows.
yeah.
Although
I
on the
do
Flash
wish-
show, the reference to hard light once.
Right.
And then also we had the Jordan.
Hal Jordan was in it.
In one of the flashbacks, you saw a guy with a flight jacket that said Jordan on it.
Yeah,
And
but
you
it
didn't
said
see his face.
Michael on the other
And,
side.
the Atom suit, I think those are hard light beams, aren't
But
think.
I would have liked if maybe like when they opened box, they had that like a Pulp Fiction moment, like, oh man, if it was like a green glow, just give us a little, just a ring box, and we're supposed to assume it's Alan Scott's ring. Come on,
Yeah.
Probably
give us a
assume
little more.
Kryptonite.
Yeah.
Give us a little more.
I think so. I would have loved it to be the Green Lantern.
Like who wouldn't want to love to see Flash's Jay Garrick team up with Alan Scott in live action? Because these shows are our only chance of that ever happening.
Sure.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But really quick, somebody is saying for Legends, Nate at NatePop1 could be wrong, but feel like they're going to kill Ray off.
I doubt it.
I think they're working so hard at trying to build him
Right.
up. Yeah.
But this guy's not wrong, Nate, because it's just from the show. It's Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because it does feel like, maybe not kill him off, but doesn't it feel like it could end with like, I gotta go find out who I really am?
Yeah,
That
maybe.
kind of
It would
energy.
be amazing if they
But I feel like they're doing that now.
if they
don't
built
need to
up.
do
No,
that.
but if they built up, I would love to see him leave because especially since Nate is kind of filling the same role. And so maybe we could, when they find him again, do some sort of the Atom type stuff where he ended up living with a microscopic society.
Yeah.
Do cool stuff. If you're Legends tomorrow, do cool stuff like that. I would also love to see Ryan Choi
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be really cool as
Yeah.
well. Fun little tweet from Daves at Jamie Daves. By day, I'm a lovable, troubled deputy mayor. By night, when blackout drunk, I get crazy ninja powers and kill innocent people. Win lands. That's the
Win
intro.
lands.
That'd be really cool. Oh, Ray for Green Lantern.
No.
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 Sam,
Not undead. I liked your idea.
No.
I liked it already.
No.
I like the idea.
No.
Someone says he's basically Hal. He is not
Okay,
Hal.
can we
No.
not assign him another superhero thing? This is a good thing. Him losing the suit removes the whole argument of you're just the suit. It's for him to be reminded that he's Ray Palmer. He's a freaking incredible genius
Which
scientist.
he literally had to be reminded this week with the word science. You're gonna science the hell out of
Oh
it.
right,
He's like, wait,
I'm
I'm
right.
genius.
I'm a
But
scientist.
was anybody else weirded out about like, oh, I need this external power source, so I'm gonna have to rip apart the cold gun? Like, you don't have like a Casio watch or something that you can't like.
No, he has a
It
cold
literally
gun.
was.
I do.
It literally was just like 2 wires coming from the cold gun. I'm like, ha! I was like, why'd you need to rip it
Also,
apart? for
it's
that?
like, couldn't somebody?
Freeze
I
it?
saw Firestorm pick up the wife and run away with her. I was like,
Yeah.
couldn't he grab the table and fly out with
yeah,
it?
was anybody a little bit worried that they were going to start a love triangle with Jax and Young?
yeah.
And Young?
Three-way, yay!
But then also like she knows Jax.
Yeah.
She like sees him. She talks to him. Then Firestorm comes. She's like, "Who are you? You look just like Jax."
I interpret it as like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
You are fire.
Yeah, you're on fire.
Yeah.
It is
You
the
look like
80s.
Jax, but you're on
But
fire.
you smell like my husband.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a quick thing before we hit our last
Here we
topic.
go. Legends tomorrow. Legends tomorrow. Legends tomorrow.
Arrow, then Supergirl, then Legends. But
Ooh.
everyone's catching up. Guys, keep voting. I'll put the link in one more time
Superhero.
so you guys can keep voting. Where are we at? There it is. Vote.
I was happy with this week's episode.
Yeah.
so-
Yes.
Every week I am so pleased.
Hey, we're having a pretty good season.
I think
Really,
all
really.
yeah.
Can I just make a quick prediction for Ray Palmer?
Yes.
He's gonna recognize that he doesn't need armor to be a hero. He's gonna make the traditional Adam style belt.
Oh man.
Adam style belt. He's not going to
Please.
wear armor to protect himself because he's not gonna hide behind something ever again. But he's gonna use that ability to help.
And Nate's gonna be like,
Matt, you have no idea how much I would want that. I don't like.
DJ's happy.
No,
You
I
don't
just.
like Iron
Happy
Man.
birthday, DJ.
Well, again, thank you. Again, because it originally was supposed to be Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
And the whole armor thing made sense for Blue Beetle, especially since Blue Beetle was just like another billionaire, like because they don't really have an Iron Man in DC, so making it kind of powers like that, making the Atom more like the Atom would be just great.
Yeah.
And they're getting there.
Yeah.
You're getting there. All right, we're still on there, but with the
I miss
last
the shrinking.
the last category, this is when we get
Yeah.
to talk shit on the other
they
shows.
just stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk shit. Oh, yeah, also probably cost maybe the most out of all.
Well,
the others.
I have a
But you realize
theory.
how great spy mission stuff he'd be great. Like, oh, we need
No,
to
yeah.
sneak in. Like, oh, you got a guy that shrinks. Come on.
I have a theory they can only do one of their powers to the fullest extent any episode.
budget wise.
Yeah.
I get it. I
so
like more Firestorm.
I was watching Citizen Steel this whole time. I was like, how are they afford? Like, he's just walking around Silver this whole
I
time.
think
Like,
that's
where's the
why there
money
was that
coming
moment
from
where
for this?
they had to undo it so
Yeah.
he could deliver his line and
No.
then redo it.
No.
So they thought they were like, oh, we don't have time to like get it all right.
to
No.
move his mouth.
Yeah.
But rebuttals. Time to talk some shit. Matt,
Okay, listen.
rip it apart.
Legends of Tomorrow and Arrow are just doing the same old shtick.
Yeah, get
Yeah. Listen,
Sorry, I'll be
we've
your hype
been
man.
to the 80s before. It's all recycled plot lines, recycled villains, recycled character arcs, recycled cold guns. The fact is, it's not offering anything new. We've seen better episodes of Legends of Tomorrow this season, and we're going to see better episodes later on. This one was just middle of the road. Same with Arrow. Everyone's all excited about Arrow this season. Great, the season is great, but this episode didn't actually do anything new.
Yeah.
It didn't actually
Man. This is gonna be-
like transcend what Arrow is supposed to be. Like I understand this plot line is moving forward. Fine. They introduced Dolph Lundgren. Fine. But that doesn't actually
So,
make
great points.
Well, I'm just saying that like just having things in it doesn't mean that you use them well.
Oh.
And while this team functions better than the old team, I'm still not caring about any of them. Like what Supergirl did this week is it gave us new reasons to care about all the people that we already know and love, even if we didn't care about them that much. Like even when they've got a successful character reboot on him, they're making every element of the show tighter instead of just adding more elements.
Yeah.
Which is what your shows have been doing in spades, and this week is a perfect
Matt
example.
Lieberman on Twitter, follow him right there.
That gave me like panic flashbacks to this election season. I just wanted to climb under the table.
The negativity.
The whole point of this last category,
same
whether it's true or not, we're just gonna dig in, and we're gonna tear them apart. Ready, fill it, tear Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow apart.
I have a lot to say about Legends of Tomorrow, but honestly, I feel like DJ kind of like already leaked in some of the stuff he didn't like about it.
No, tear it apart. Come on,
get violent.
Honestly, the simple. I mean, no. There's so many issues with Legends of Tomorrow that are just built into the show.
You heard it
that
here.
You almost can't do it. All right, fine.
I'll give you
Get into it, man. Get into it,
What
man.
did I say? No. Sarah Lance is a freaking potato for telling Damien Dark what is going to happen for the next, 60 years. And then he just avoids it. And it's like, okay, for your little thing, thousands of people will die now. But he feels sad when he gets caught. And he's not going to get caught. So she's a potato. But, you know what?
Hashtag Sarah's a potato.
Yeah.
Get it started,
But
guys.
I won't go through the other stuff because I like that episode more than that.
Damn it.
I will just say about Supergirl. No, Matt has some decent points. He sounded like you did bring up a lot of reasons why Arrow is great this week. But also, he had a really great half of an episode with Supergirl.
Ooh!
The emotions were there and the
Heat.
character arcs were there.
The heat is
And
on.
unfortunately, this isn't just a CW drama. It's a superhero show where the action really needs to be there. Who was the villain this week? What was their name? You don't remember.
Our villain's name is Mrs. Luther, sir. Ms. Luther, if you're nasty.
The head cook had a cool name, but I can't remember what it was.
Head cook.
Head cook.
The chef was more interesting. No. Yeah.
You got any more dicks?
No, I like my friends.
Those are pretty good. DJ, kill it.
Okay, so I was supposed to go after Supergirl. My biggest complaint with this episode. Okay, so the villains were a little bit weaker. There wasn't like a solid villain this episode.
Supergirl.
Unlike next week, which I'm so excited about. Also, did anybody else feel that like the leap from Jimmy Olsen to Guardian was a little sudden? Like, oh, my dad's camera. Guess I gotta be a vigilante now.
Well, the fact that he said that.
These people, huh?
I wish he had just said it that simply.
Like the idea of him being the pathos behind it. Like, I've been a sidekick this whole time. It's time for me to step up. That makes sense. And I guess on the one hand, we don't want another Laurel Lance where it's like we get a year and a half of them just being bad at being, but we haven't had this is the first time
got
like
one episode.
suddenly he can kick ass and shit. Like, is this something we should have known about?
I mean, he looks like he's tough.
I mean, he's the tallest person. He's taller than Superman.
He is
Yeah.
a black belt.
Did you notice when he
he
was
is a
in
black belt.
when Superman was there? They clearly were like apple box. No apple box. They were like constantly fighting.
Trying to,
He's giant.
He's
Another
a
giant
tall,
man.
handsome man.
Yeah.
It just felt like we hadn't really established it. Like they've done such an expert job of transitioning Alex into a lesbian character. Like that transition is beautiful. With Jimmy Olsen's like, he's a vigilante now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe we could have seeded his discomfort by episode 1, and then like suddenly like maybe an offhand remark like, well, I'm a black belt, right? Like stuff like that.
The way they did it, if they had slightly missed the camera, he would not be becoming a superhero right now.
Yeah.
Like that's not a great way
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah.
Suck it, DJ's tearing your show apart. He's got more for
Real quick.
Arrow.
Do I have for Arrow?
Yes, you do. Just say one thing.
Say
DJ.
one thing. Rip it out.
They mentioned time quakes. Oh no, that was your show.
Fucking time points, man.
Sarah's a hot
time
potato.
seismograph. Wouldn't it have been a chronoseismograph? Wouldn't that have been cooler?
Yes, it would have.
Yeah.
But no, that's your show, man.
Yeah. Arrow. Shit. What did they do right on Arrow?
What
Fuck.
they do wrong?
What didn't they do right on Arrow? Shit.
Give us a new Arrow.
I'll give you something.
It's like that place is not becoming casino. The building they went to, that's not going to be a casino. Come on, are you kidding me? It's one shitty room. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll give you the new team. Guys, chill out a little bit. They're like, oh, we're not equal and on par. And it's like, they've been doing this for years. The last time that you guys did anything, you revealed Oliver's secret identity.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Oliver's a
slow
murderer. Wild Dog's like, I don't know. I shoot people in the face all the time. I don't know if I'm bothered by that one.
Yeah.
I think all of them were near being murderers until Oliver intervened, actually.
Yeah.
Like, in each of their
Yeah,
storylines.
wasn't
Except
Artemis
Mr.
also a murderer last year?
She was trying to be.
Who hasn't murdered?
Yeah.
None amongst us can say we haven't murdered.
Okay. Here's the thing. The distinction they make, while I appreciate it because this is the show that we're watching and we want to root for them, the distinction they make between Oliver taking out Church's men and what he was doing, is a little wonky. This show makes a pretty solid argument for just like being a vigilante and murdering people, which is a little weird.
Yeah. Anyone else bothered by all the murdering on Arrow? Maybe you should.
I actually will say
drag an arrow through the mud.
Yeah,
Nice one.
but I actually will say at least there's murders on one of these shows. Like
At least
there's
there's
murders?
murders?
Yeah. No, I'll say it.
Hey, as we learned from the Indiana Jones franchise, sometimes you need your hero that's just be willing to kill people. All right.
You know. All right, guys.
What was the thing you wanted to talk about with the Supergirl promo for next week?
Well,
Oh,
we
let them
give
vote. Really quick, let me do a quick poll update. It is updating.
Updating. Oh, tensions are rising.
Updating.
What will the
Oh,
electronic?
yeah, well, go ahead. Start it.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Oh, man,
start it
the
up.
polls were all wrong.
we got 2 crazy previews for next week in Supergirl. Spoilers, I guess, if you don't want to know anything about what's going to happen on Supergirl. We're getting Parasite.
Yeah.
Oh,
a
yeah,
giant CGI purple mouth within a mouth parasite. Like I am so excited. My only real bummer is it feels like the Superman in this universe is the Superman in every Superman movie where he never really fights villains except Lex Luthor, and then all the cool villains are going to Supergirl. Like, who did Superman fight? Lex Luthor and I guess Reactron. Who did Supergirl get? Metallo, Parasite, like Silver Banshee.
You kind of have to. Hold on, I'm going to throw an image of Parasite up really quick so that we can all see, and you guys can see at home as well, because he's looking pretty
Super excited
freaking
about it.
cool.
And also,
Bad
I
boy,
apologize, guys. I need to.
No worries.
you do you, man. You're good. There's Parasite.
there's Parasite looking just crazy. I like the alien mouth within a mouth.
Man,
thing.
that's great character design, honestly.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how he's going to make the transition. It wouldn't surprise me if they make him more alien based.
You know what? I'm
like
gonna say that version. That version of Parasite looks better than in comics or cartoons or anything else. I like that.
I like that Parasite. Also, for Arrow next week, we're getting Vigilante full on in costume.
We are.
And I think that's going to be another revisiting of where Oliver came from and how he started.
It'll probably be a lot like when Huntress was around, where she's around like killing people and stuff, and Oliver's like, no, you can't do that. And she's like, but what you're doing? He's like, hey, it's so different. And she's like, no.
I like people just should carry a mirror around.
Yeah, it's like, man, just saying.
Okay, all right.
A mirror master?
Quick thing. Vote update. We've got Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. That's the same.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
No, it did get real
But it is
close.
getting tighter.
We're getting close. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. And I wanted to talk about for a second, were you guys able to see the ad for the crossover? They're already starting to advertise
I
for
was
it.
not, unfortunately.
All you're doing is, all you got was Kara
real
just
small.
saying, hi, this is Oliver, this is Sarah Lance, this is everybody, meeting the Legends and the Arrow.
And you
team.
can sense some. I mean,
cool.
I'm sensing some tension between Oliver and Kara.
Yeah,
Of
we've
course,
heard
because
that
he's
they're not going to like each other.
yeah, he's a hard ass. And then the other thing is that Sarah gets a little crush on Supergirl, which duh.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Diggle to see Supergirl at full force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to be like upset. He's going to be like visibly upset.
Guys,
Game over.
What do you think the chances are that this crossover is going to just fully integrate Supergirl to the full CW?
It
verse?
You mean permanently?
Yeah.
They're making it very clear that they don't want that because they have so much stuff set up in their own world where they get to be like distinctly removed from everybody else. Like,
But-
I know you want. I know.
Right now,
But-
think about how it was. They had to be very delicate with her dealing with Metropolis, where it's like Metropolis is there. They can team. Her and Superman can team up a lot. If she's there and there's 3 other cities or whatever it is
It'll
that
be
are
just
also
like the comics.
struggling,
It'll be
but-
just like the comics.
but if they're true to them, then she should show up really often.
Well,
know what I mean?
like I don't think it would really change
I
it that
want them
much,
to do
and
it.
they
Yeah,
don't.
we
and,
want it,
and it
but-
wouldn't be. And it wouldn't be. You wouldn't have to go through all the rigmarole of dimension hopping every time you have to
Yeah.
do a crossover.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the time sphere.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I love about it. One, it wasn't explained to Damien Dark. He just was like, okay, I'll sit in this. And then he sees him running around, which is also, again, like, what are you doing? Like, no one said anything.
Yeah.
But also, I like that. So we know, based on the crossover.
He doesn't
they're-
say shit. He's
yeah.
just like.
It's like, well, you do that. I'm gonna sit in this this futuristic speaker. But I also like, you know how they're gonna be picking up some, no spoilers, just some other people that will be joining them in the crossover. But there's only one chair in that time sphere.
Yeah.
So I like the
So
idea of
they're all
like
just
people
going,
like.
"Hey!"
Yes.
They need their time traveling thing, and Rip will show up, and they're like, "Wait, where the fuck did
Sit
you
on my
get
lap.
that?" Well,
Wait
yeah.
a second. Is there any chance Rip could become part of the Legion of Doom?
That would be a weird twist.
It'd be a good way for him to come back.
That would make a. I don't know if that makes sense, but you guys can write your theories down below.
See, we could get some
Wonder where
Supergirl
Matt
villains on
went.
the Legion. Good
Hashtag
question.
where's Matt?
Yeah. Isn't that the dance video?
Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag where's. Oh yeah, we danced around the world. Yeah, that's a good video.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm really excited.
He knew the show was gonna lose, so he didn't want to get the punishment.
Ooh, tell it like it is, DJ. Digging in the other shows. We guys know now that DJ hates Arrow and Supergirl's favorite show is Legends of Tomorrow.
Real quick, I'm gonna say this show is so fun to do, guys.
To argue it and talk about it.
The show that we're doing.
Yeah, no, we get to watch the shows we want to watch, and then we get to talk about it.
I rate this show as the best of the show of the week.
Aww. But that's not how it works on the poll. And to Matt over there. Yeah. He got it over there.
How much did we pay you to say that?
All right, tell us your thoughts on everything while I go grab the gift.
Our thoughts on everything?
Yeah.
Oh man, they're still voting. They're still voting.
You guys are the worst at vamping.
You said give your thoughts on everything.
On
like
everything.
All
the universe, the darkest timeline.
Shout outs to Jasmanian Devil that's watching. Shout out to Mr. Khan.
Oh, they're doing ship names for White Canary and Supergirl. Super Canary, Super Sarah, Kara and Sarah.
Kara
oh,
Sarah.
Man.
Kara Sarah. I don't know if that
works. Sakara? Isn't that the planet on John Carter?
Sicario is a good movie, yeah. All right, I think we're near the end. Here we go, guys.
Of the story.
I'm really jealous of you guys because I'm not in the running, so I don't get the prize, but I'm really bad.
So you get the punishment.
We might share.
I get the punishment.
Yeah.
All right. And the winner is Arrow.
Oh, by the narrowest of margins.
Got so tight.
Arrow, then
a tie.
Supergirl, and then Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're pretty
Okay,
close.
now that the voting is done, can I tell you I really like Supergirl and Arrow this week. I really like them this week.
But guys, the best part, there's a prize.
There's a prize.
And the prize is...
Oh, there it is.
It's a zombie single-shot Nerf gun.
What?
That's cool.
You would like put it on your keychain and walk around with Nerf guns wherever you want. Yeah.
Open carry Nerf guns.
White girl. That's what you do for White Canary and Supergirl.
White girl.
White girl. And for the losers at the table, which is Matt and DJ, you have to play with Mega Blocks.
No!
I'm real proud of this. It's going to make so much noise for the camera. Oh, no. A whole box of Mega Blocks. You're welcome, guys. But I'm bummed because Matt walked away, but DJ, it's your birthday, and if it's your birthday, you know what you get. You get cake.
What?
Yeah. Happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. Oh, it's the same cake as before we got when we won, but it's a good cake.
It is a good cake. That was a good cake.
Oh, but also, how about happy birthday?
Yay!
That had some kick, man.
Right?
You could take out some zombies with that.
That's supposed to go 50 feet. That thing's got kick.
I did it at 15 inches.
Yeah. But here's a cake. Happy birthday.
Man,
Guys, hit us up
thank
on
you.
social media. Say happy birthday to DJ. And thank you to Aaron for getting this cake once again. I was able to run out and grab this stuff. Hit the camera. Hit it.
You got it. You got it.
Oh, right above it.
Man, that thing goes
that's
fast.
intense.
Oh my god, we should go buy more. They're awesome and they're really affordable. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in for Superhero Smackdown. Hit us up on Twitter with your thoughts, #SuperSmack, also in the comments, and share this with your friends. Watch along with us. Watch these shows. Vote for them online. We love you guys. I'm Sam Basher at Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wilder at DJ Talks Trash. Listen to Only Stupid Answers at Only Stupid Answers. Take out the vowels from stupid.
That's on
You can
Twitter.
listen to us on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher.
And Audio Boom.
And Audio Boom. Boom.
Philip.
I'm Bill Molina. You can hit me up on Twitter at Fimo or on Snapchat at FimoKnows. Oh, I hit the wrong thing.
Nice. And Matt, he is our lovely fourth host. He had to
Yes.
step away. At Matt Lieberman, he's a nice guy. Go say hi to him on social media. Also, happy birthday, DJ. Get that going.
I got
it.
it.
Guys, we love you. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to sing happy birthday to get out of this.
Oh my goodness.
Here it goes.
Happy birthday
to
Happy
you.
birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday to you.
What's happening right now? I'm super appreciative. I just don't know what's happening.
Happy birthday